People are gearing up to travel in record numbers for Independence Day. That includes both those who are taking flight and those gassing up for a drive. Emily Riley live now at the Austin Straubel International Airport to tell us what travelers can expect during a very busy time of travel. Emily.
Brittany, airport administrators tell me that 2023 could be the busiest year for travel in more than 20 years. This holiday week is expected to be much busier than last year. Jesse Funk, the public information officer at the Appleton Airport, says this week for travel is almost twice as busy as it was this time last year. As for drivers, AAA says more than 1 million people in our state will take at least one trip 50 miles or more between tomorrow and July 4th. That's nearly 50,000 more holiday travelers than the previous record high set just last year. Funk says he doesn't foresee issues with long lines at local airports, but wants travelers to prepare in advance if they're connecting to an airport in a larger city.
Overall, I think travel is just becoming more and more important in people's lives, and we see that not only in Appleton but across the country, that these experiences, these connections, obviously through COVID, a lot of those connections were ruined, whether it be with family or business, and so those are important.
Airport administrators recommend travelers come prepared and to regularly check for flight updates. Reporting live in Ashwaubenon, Emily Riley, Action 2 News.